Ballots head out to mailboxes today in Helena, and the race is on for the city's mayor. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian sat down with each of the candidates.
Helena's mayor says the city has made strides in the last 4 years, and he wants to continue that work. His challenger says city leadership needs to do a better job of listening to the public. Mayor Wilmot Collins was first elected in 2017, running on issues like improving public safety staffing. He says he's proud of the street improvements the city has completed, the support they've given to affordable housing projects, and the fact Helena was able to continue services without interruption during the pandemic.
I think I've worked well with all because I think together we've accomplished a lot, and I think we can do more.
If Collins wins a second term, he says he wants to be more deliberate about finding ways to address housing and homelessness, issues he says need a bigger conversation.
When we talk about housing, homelessness, mental health, all those things go hand in hand. We need to have a one-stop shop where we can address those issues as a community. And that's one of the things I'm trying to work towards.
Sonda Gobb moved back to Helena full-time 3 years ago. She says she's lived in a number of communities and seen them struggle as they deal with growth.
And I see some of those same maybe mistakes being done in our community right now. And I want to take a step back and look at how we can solve these in a directive way.
Gobb believes there's been a communication deficit among city departments and between the city and the public. She wants leaders to do more to seek community input as they make decisions. She owns a small tutoring business and wants to see the city become more business-friendly.
I can run a classroom and I can direct people and hopefully get people to be prosperous, and I want to be prosperous. And the way the city is going now, I will not be prosperous. If I'm not prosperous, I can't spend money.
You can find full interviews with Collins and Gobb and all the candidates running in Helena and East Helena city elections on our website. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
We have Jonathan Ambarian joining us this evening. Jonathan, thanks for being here. So,
thanks, Marianne.
You've been covering this most recent mayoral election. Are there any themes that you've seen running through maybe some of the candidates' talking points or platforms?
Well, from all of the candidates in both the city commission race and the mayoral race, I think we're seeing a lot of the same issues coming up. Everyone wants to talk about infrastructure, water and sewer being an issue that they want to see improved on. Everyone has ideas about affordable housing, a lot of different ideas about the best way to handle that. And I would say one thing that we're hearing from a lot of candidates, particularly the challengers and those who want some kind of change on the commission, is the idea of they want more transparency and more public input.
So Jonathan, you've been covering city government for a while. Where do you think this call for transparency stems from?
Well, there are a lot of issues that have happened in the last couple of years where we've seen the city has made some kind of a decision and then people afterwards have felt they didn't get enough notice of it. There's been a lot of things in regards to some of the trail projects, and well, they've had some public hearings and things in their meetings that have been discussed. People have still felt like they didn't get as much input possibly or as much notice of them happening as they wanted to. So I think one of the issues that is going to be discussed is there a better way that the city can get out idea or information about what they're talking about, the ideas they have, so that people are able to know what's going on and everyone can participate all through the line. I think everyone, regardless of their opinions on it, has said that's something they want to make sure that everyone has that chance to opine.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. And of course, Helena residents, speaking of participation, ballots went out today, so start checking your mailbox. And of course, viewers, you can find all of Jonathan's reporting online at ktvh.com.